My name is Leslie Showers, principal of Stillman Valley High School. It is my honor and intent to provide a solid understanding of Stillman Valley High School's performance as measured by several indicators. When data are available, I have compared our SVHS performance to that of other schools in our area and across the state to provide additional contextual understanding. Thank you to our Meridian Activities Director, Mrs. Heather Alderks, for providing our high school's activity participation data. This slide represents the participation levels by number, which includes both athletics and activities. 454 students out of our student body of 615 students in the 18-19 school year were involved in at least one activity at SVHS, which accounted for over 70% of our student body. 328 students were involved in at least two activities, which accounted for 50% of our student body. This graph progresses all the way to our one student who was involved in 11 activities. Mrs. Alderks works closely with our students, coaches, and advisors, and actively updates Twitter and Instagram to promote our activities and athletic programs. The 12 Plus Student Award, which began 2 years ago, seeks to recognize our high school students who participate in a minimum of 3 activities per school year in an effort to encourage our students to invest in a more comprehensive high school experience. Thank you to SVHS Assistant Principal Mr. Jeff Volz for providing our discipline data. The number of students who attended after-school detentions increased by 25% when compared to the 17-18 school year. This number was very encouraging because it meant that when students were assigned after-school detentions, they served them more often than the previous year. There were several positive gains in our 18-19 data. The number of tardy referrals decreased 33% over last year. Additionally, there was a decrease in detentions, Saturday school detentions, and both in and out of school suspensions. The largest of those decreases was in the number of in-school suspensions. There was a 32% decrease in this area. However, a significant reason for this decrease was because we did not hold any in-school suspensions the last month of school due to a medical issue with our in-school supervisor. The number of students that did not serve heat increased by 18% during the 18-19 school year. This is not a positive trend because it may indicate an increased degree of apathy on the part of some of our students toward their education. It is important to track our low socioeconomic rates because students with low SES often have different subsets of strengths and potential challenges. Also, a great deal of research has been conducted indicating that as low SES numbers increase in a school or district, student achievement is likely to decrease. We are dedicated to educational equity, so regardless of socioeconomic status, all students have equal access to our most challenging courses. When comparing and contrasting these similar low SES high schools, almost all of these schools experienced increased low SES populations, with the exception of Prairie Central High School. Since all of these comparative schools now have higher low SES percentages than SVHS, moving forward, I will be reporting this data with several different high schools that have more accurate, comparable data to us. In comparison to our neighboring high schools, almost all of these schools experienced relatively stable low SES rates from the previous year, with the exception of Winnebago High School, which, if accurate, experienced a significant decrease in its low SES population. When comparing our low SES rate to several academically high-performing high schools in Illinois, the trend of decreasing low SES rates continues for the majority of the high schools in this group. Our low SES rate is still significantly higher than the schools in this comparison, with the exception of Hananiga. A major criterion included in the Illinois State Board of Education's Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, is 9th grade students on track to graduate. Our graduation rate for the class of 2017 was unusually low due to several students who were not successful even in alternative school settings. We understand that it is critical that we track each student's earned credits at the end of each semester and grades throughout the semester to determine if we need to pivot early and intervene to get students back on track. SVHS requires that each student earn a minimum of 28 credit hours to graduate on time, which means that ideally each student is earning a minimum of 6 credits per school year, 3.5 credits per semester. The final graduation rate for the class of 2019 was nearly 95%. The grad rates for the remaining grad classes of 2020, 21, and 22 shown here represent where each class was at the end of its freshman year. We are very pleased with the progress that our class of 2020 has made over the past 3 years, and we're anticipating a final grad rate for the class of 2020 near 91%, which is still low by district standards, but a tremendous success story for this class and our SVHS faculty and staff. Students identified as on track have earned at least 5 full-year course credits and have earned no more than 1 semester F in a core course, such as English, math, science, or social science. This data is part of ESSA and reported on the state report card. Here you can see how we compare and contrast to similar low SES high schools. Freshman on track is a key predictor of high school success. Students who finish the 9th grade year on track are almost 4 times as likely to graduate from high school as students who are not on track. Research shows that the number of students on track and the graduation rate rise when schools actively intervene by identifying freshmen at risk and providing tutoring, additional instruction, and other individualized services. These interventions are becoming part of the culture at SVHS. We are very proud of our class of 2018 and 2019 graduation rates, a testament to the focused work of our faculty, counseling team, college and career coordinator, and administration to support our students based on their individual strengths and challenges. To better meet the needs of our students, we offer Flex, the alternative online night school program at SVHS for students who need credit recovery. Our teacher leaders and departments also evaluate our current courses during the first semester each year to determine if we are meeting the needs of all students to be college and career ready. Our school counselors are in constant communication with faculty and parents in an effort to support the needs of our students as well as the work of our faculty and staff. We also utilize Illinois Virtual and BYU online courses and Alex Math for students in need of credit recovery and for students who want to be challenged in addition to their SVHS coursework. Our strong graduation rate can also be attributed to the outstanding efforts of our college and career coordinator, Mr. Ed Legal, to seek internships, design job shadowing opportunities, build local manufacturing partnerships for students, and schedule tailored college visits based on students' pathways, skills, and interests. Schools self-report for their graduation rate, and since 2011, the formula is as follows. The number of graduates for a given year divided by the number of first-time 9th graders in the fall 4 years prior, plus students who transfer in, minus students that transfer out, emigrate, or pass away during the 4 years following their first enrollment in high school. Students with disabilities that stay in school to the age that they are legally permitted to do so do count against graduation rate data. In comparison to similar low SES high schools, our 14-year graduation rate average continues to be higher than all of these schools except for Hampshire High School. In comparison to neighboring high schools, our 14-year grad rate average is higher than most and only slightly lower than Byron and Oregon high schools. In comparison to academically high-performing high schools in Illinois, our 14-year grad rate average is 2 to 4 percentage points lower than most of the included high schools and just slightly higher than Hononegah's. The ACT data represent the students in a graduating class who elect to take the ACT on their own. As a point of reference, approximately 19% of the class of 2020 has taken the ACT, compared to 30% in the class of 2019 and 22% of the class of 2018. We continue to encourage all of our students to take the ACT on their own if they're college bound, as the exam will serve as another data point for college admissions consideration and potential scholarships. The SAT is based on a 1,600-point scale with 2 sections, math and evidence-based English reading and writing, each scored between 200 and 800, and the optional essay evaluated separately. There is no penalty for wrong answers, so your raw score is the sum of the number of questions you answer correctly. Raw scores are converted to scaled scores, which are used to determine percentile ranks. The percentile indicates how well you did compared to other test takers. For example, if you score in the 72nd percentile, you did better than 72% of test takers. Our students in the class of 2020 who took the SAT in 2019 underperformed based upon our 2018 and 2019 grad classes. However, 2020's performance was not as low as we were predicting based upon their PSAT data and their underwhelming on-track to graduate data at the end of their freshman year. The SVHS class of 2020 significantly outperformed many of the local high schools, only underperforming to Pecatonica and slightly to Byron. In comparison to the selected academically high-achieving high schools, the SVHS class of 2020 significantly underperformed on the SAT. However, when reviewing the progress made over the past 3 years with this class, compared to where they began as freshmen, we are celebrating their performance while still recognizing the desire to constantly drive student achievement. We will continue to align our curriculum, instruction, and assessments to the SAT expectations and format to give all of our students the very best opportunities to perform well on the SAT. And we're looking at ways to embed additional SAT prep into applicable courses to ensure that our students are positioned for post-secondary excellence. I'm very pleased to share that we again saw positive gains in our advanced placement performance on the spring 2019 exams, with the highest percentage of passing scores since the 2006-2007 school year, while having more than 3 times the number of students completing AP exams compared to this 2007 school year. Students enrolled in last year's AP Biology with Ms. Erin McMaster, AP English with Ms. Angie Palmer, and AP U.S. History and AP Government, both with Mr. Bill Pulaski, experienced the greatest test success in terms of pass percentage. Also, students in AP Chemistry with Mrs. Kathy McCary and AP Government with Mr. Bill Pulaski saw the greatest increases from the previous year in terms of pass percentage. The action plan associated with our Culture SIP goal has an overarching emphasis on cultivating an engaging learning environment for students. Student choice is defined as a form of student-centered teaching that is intended to increase the student's level of learning and sense of ownership in the classroom by increasing his or her level of involvement by giving him or her choice within one's own learning. This process may include student choice in depth of content, skills to review and apply, types of assessments and activities, as well as opportunities for scaffolded lessons and increased rigor and complexity. The intent of our academic SIP goal is to engage students in the process of tracking and analyzing their performance data and their SMART goals in order to make our students more self-aware of their academic progress and the unique supports that students may need in order to meet their academic goals. Various degrees of student data tracking, either by student or by teacher, existed within our courses, but there was no building-wide systematic process for students responsible for their own data tracking. When we began this goal in the 18-19 school year, we experienced strong dedication to the process on the part of our students and faculty. However, this year, dedication to this goal has diminished. When discussing this concern with our division leaders and faculty, we've learned that some do not value this process because of the time it takes for students to complete the work in class, and the fact that there is no data to suggest that the process is positively impacting student ownership and performance. We are working together to revise and refine this goal for the second semester so our students and faculty will value the work. Our systems SIP goal is used to create a plan for professional development for our faculty and staff in order to meet our culture and academic SIP goals. Our key steps in this action plan are focused on professional development that empowers our faculty to embed more opportunities for student choice in their course projects, activities, and assessments. The focus at SVHS for the 2019-2020 school year includes our 3 SIP goals: aligned and rigorous curriculum, instruction, and assessment, college and career readiness measures, pursuit of internships, work study, apprenticeships, and scheduled college and manufacturing visits, SAT prep, and the continued focus on a healthy, positive school climate and an empowering school culture. Thank you.